Wrestling fans, how the fuck you guys doing? Welcome back to another riveting episodic edition of Project Pipe Bomb. I'm your host, like normal, Paul Jaser, aka the Arabian Wolf. Joined by my esteemed colleagues today, I got the Vigilante Mario, I got King Brickwall Billy. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good, Bill. How about you, Mario?
I'm so fucking happy right now because I just saw Raw.
Oh yeah, I know. We're all astounded at the product from tonight. Overall, I thought it was pretty lackluster. If you guys want to give out your Twitter handles real quick, go ahead before we jump into the show.
Yeah, you can follow me at King Brickwall.
And you, Mario?
And you guys can follow me on Twitter at GoldenEagle0462.
All right. Thanks again, guys, for coming on the show. Make sure to the listeners now, make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button on the video. Leave a comment in the feedback section below. Let us know how we're doing. Let's just jump right into it. Today is our Raw review for April 6, 2015. In my opinion, and I'm sure about everybody else's, a pretty lackluster show following last week. But, you know, I'm not going to complain. We had a great WrestleMania. We had a great Raw following WrestleMania 31. And even SmackDown last week prior was a pretty good show. So, you know, tonight I could expect a little bit on the mediocre side from the production team, from the wrestlers, from the booking standpoint. You know, the opening segment was pretty dull in my opinion. Nothing great happened until we got Neville versus Seth Rollins. You know, representing NXT, you know, doing a great light, shedding some, you know, a little fan light down there on them guys. So overall, you know, I thought it was a lackluster Raw. What about you, Billy?
Yeah, we're looking at great of a Raw. This always happens after the Raw, after Mania. Like the week after, it's always great, at least like decent, sort of, sometimes.
Yeah, they kind of transitioned back to the, you know, the average day-to-day style.
Yeah.
It's more of a cool-down period following Mania, you know.
Yeah, I thought it was really shitty in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, only a few things popped up on my list of things that I gravitated towards. I wasn't really entertained throughout, you know, the overall consistency of the show. What about you, Mario?
You know, it was what it was. It was just a regular, boring one that everyone usually is. This is pretty much like the downhill, like fall for Raw right now. After WrestleMania, leading up to until SummerSlam, and then maybe it'll get better by then. So I mean, I'm not surprised that it was a bad Raw.
Right, I agree. You know, the excitement isn't really in the air unless it's one of the big four pay-per-views, but also we can't forget that you had Triple H and Stephanie off of TV. Despite Bray Wyatt's promo, we had him off of TV. Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, you know, were off of TV. So, you know, Rusev was off of TV. You know, so overall, yeah, we were missing a lot of talents, and that definitely contributed to the influence it played on the show in general. And I felt that's a big reason it was lackluster. But no fear, guys. Next week we're going to be in UK for Raw, and they always deliver when they're in the UK. Yeah. And you know, the crowd's
people selling their injuries at once.
Right, yeah, they're selling injuries and stuff like that. A little too much storyline drama going into a Raw to have that many guys off TV is, you know, it's a travesty in my opinion, and you know it's going to take away from the overall quality of the show. But yeah, despite those guys being off TV, Raw will be in the UK next week, and we always get a great crowd fan base there. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, the highlight of the night, the match that stole the show for me was easily WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins versus Neville, this will be his second match on the main roster now. You know, representing NXT, shedding some light on the guys down there, and doing a great job at it. You know, arguably the best high flyer in the WWE besides Kalisto and Seth Rollins. In my opinion, him and Kalisto are the best high flyers. But the match was great. Both guys have good chemistry. Pac and Tyler Black have worked together in the past on the indie scene, on the indie circuit, so they do have chemistry. Overall, I loved every second of it, and it just shows that the main roster, Vince McMahon and Triple H, are taking NXT seriously, and tonight was the prime example of that in the booking that they did with Adrian Neville. What do you think, Mario? How are they booking NXT? How are they booking Adrian Neville, and what do you think about the match?
I really don't have any complaints about NXT right now. You know, I love the product, you know, and it's the only reason why I got the network in the first place. So, you know, I'm enjoying NXT. And as far as this match goes, I thought they could have done more, but they did have the time. So, I mean, it was what it was. It was okay.
Yeah, you know, I thought they were afforded a decent amount of time to go out there and showcase their work and shed a little bit of light on Neville and NXT and what they're doing down there with the guys in developmental. So, yeah, overall, I thought it was a good effort. What about you, Billy?
I think NXT is getting booked really great right now, and Neville versus Rollins was just a surprise. I didn't expect them to have Neville, go against a top guy already, but it's a good start.
Right, yeah, it is a good start, and it just shows, thankfully, that they are taking NXT serious, and, moving forward, Adrian Neville is going to get a pretty big push, and it just goes to show from debuting, or not debuting, but his second match on the main roster was against WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. So, moving forward, I'm happy with the direction they're going, and at NXT, the future looks really fucking bright. Any last thoughts, guys? All right, not all at once now.
Just a good match, that's all I got to say.
It was a good match, and I enjoyed it. I'm sure we all did. We had Lucha Dragons working Raw tonight against New Day. Overall, I thought New Day brought down the spectacle a little bit on the Lucha Dragons. They had to work a little harder to get over with them, even though they did get the win. I thought they were really dragging them down when it came to match quality. But, yeah, overall, I'm not a big fan of it. Just happy Lucha Dragons are on the main roster, and they're getting a spot that they deserve. Sin Cara is decent in my opinion, but I'm a huge fan of Kalisto, formerly known as Samurai Del Sol. That guy can go, and he's one of the best high flyers lacing up today. What's your guys' personal thoughts on Lucha Dragons? We'll start with you, Bill.
I like the Lucha Dragons. I think Kalisto is really carrying the team more than Unuko is. But I like them. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. He plays a way bigger influence than Sin Unico. But what do you think, Mario?
I really like them as a tag team. And it kind of adds like a whole new dynamic to the tag team division. Because it's been kind of stale for the past couple years. So now bringing out this tag team, and it brings like a whole new spectacle to the tag team division.
Yeah, I know. Great way to put it. They really are a great asset and a great dynamic to the tag team division. They bring a different factor to it, and we've been so desperately needing that serious Lucha Libre team. So moving forward, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do, and I hope they get a good push because I would love to see Lucha Dragons feuding with Kid and Cesaro for the tag titles. I think they would work a great program together when it comes to in-ring quality. But yeah, moving forward, what do you guys think next what's next for Bray Wyatt? We don't really know what's going on. He sort of gave us a little closure tonight, talking about the Undertaker, saying the Undertaker, you can't defeat Mother Nature. Everybody's day finally comes, and he's the new face of fears. Moving forward, I don't know what type of direction he's gonna go in. Who he's gonna go after. Raw ended like 10 minutes early tonight, which was pretty spur of the moment for me. I haven't seen him end this early in years. So I'm a little clued in to where Bray Wyatt's going to go. Like, is he going to fall back into the mid-card? Is he going to start going back and annihilating jobbers? There's a lot of questions in the air, and a lot of people are nervous for him. They're hoping he gets the push he deserves, but they don't think he's going to. What do you think next? What do you guys think is next for Bray Wyatt, Billy?
Honestly, I don't really know. Because I've heard rumors maybe Sting, maybe Orton later on. I don't really know. It's all up in the air right now.
Yeah, they could go in so many possible different directions and throw tons of different aspects into it, but as of right now, nobody knows what's really going on, and it's just speculation until then. My personal opinion, I thought he was going to interfere tonight maybe in the main event in the triple threat match, and maybe, set his sights on Randy Orton and then have Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins go into, Extreme Rules and feud there and have Bray work a program with Orton, but that wasn't the case. What about you, Mario? What do you think's next for Bray Wyatt? Are you scared for him? Do you think he's going to fall on the off-beaten path of bad booking, like Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper have fallen to?
I'm scared to a certain extent. Because he just had a match with the Undertaker. So where else does he go from here? Just nobody has faith in the Undertaker right now. So I think they should turn him face and put him against the Authority. I think that'd be a cool dynamic between the two.
Yeah, I feel like the crowd would connect to it so well, and I think it would be just really entertaining. I spoke about this on a podcast maybe. It's probably been at least a year since I talked about it now, but overall, I did want to see Bray Wyatt turn face to a certain extent at some point and rebel against the Authority because, he's supposed to be against the Machine, but at the moment he's a heel. So technically he's working with the Machine in a way if you look at it. But yeah, I did want to see him rebel against the Authority, work a program with them, and he could add in all the creepy and spooky effects that, the the dead man used to do, like The Undertaker and all those different things, play mind games with them. I think it would do good business, and I think it would work a good program, and then build to Triple H versus Bray Wyatt maybe at SummerSlam. I think that would be a possible direction they could go in, and I think the crowd would get behind it. What do you think about that, Triple H Bray Wyatt? Does that make sense to you guys?
It sort of does. It does, but they want to do Raw versus Triple H at SummerSlam. So
that would be really interesting to see. You know, that's something I would talk about for a while.
So they can go any direction. Who really knows at this time.
Right. Yeah. You know, we saw a pretty lackluster effort from the Divas tonight. Pretty mediocre. Give Divas a chance. Everyone getting behind the movement, but so far, ever since then, they haven't really risen to the occasion and delivered, in my opinion. I think they're slacking out there still, and I think it really never swept them. You know, Naomi, in my opinion, is probably the most athletic on the main roster and pretty innovative in her own right, good wrestler, pretty solid for her time she's been in the business. I think she deserves a title shot. A lot of people are waiting for that women in NXT to transition to the main roster. Speculation is Charlotte's next. Following her will be most likely Sasha Banks, and so on and so forth. But moving forward, I really think they need to bring that dynamic, for lack of a better term from Mario, to the main roster and have them work with those girls. And I think it's going to bring up the overall quality of the matches and bring back some legitimacy and credibility to the Divas division. In your guys' opinions, what do you guys think they need to fix the Divas and start to make them look serious in the eyes of the fans? We'll start with you, Mario.
Well, they need actual talent. You know, not just supermodels, you know, just look pretty out there, you know. A lot of people want to see them actually go in the ring, you know, 20 to 30 minutes, you know. And you get that in NXT. So,
in NXT, you get to see Divas main eventing.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I want to see that happen on Raw and SmackDown, you know, because I do like women wrestling, you know, but when it's good, obviously, right?
You know, you have the women that aren't talented enough to go out there and carry a match and carry a show on their own. Then you have the talented women who aren't utilized properly. For example, Tamina Snuka, Alicia Fox. Those are two women wrestlers I think can go in the ring and aren't given the time and afforded the time to go out there and showcase their skills. What do you think the Divas division needs, Billy, to be revamped and taken seriously in this day and age?
It just needs real women wrestlers, not these like models like the Bellas. They need to just get off my TV sometimes. Just want to punch the TV. Not my TV.
I can understand that. Fuck you, TV, for putting the Bellas on.
Yeah, and having as the Divas champion does nothing. She's not really carrying herself good as a champion, I think.
Right, and I can understand that to a certain extent. I thought she had improved a tiny bit when it comes to promos and in-ring ability, very tiny bit. Some might not spot it. I have a keen eye for it, so to speak, sometimes. She has improved a little bit, but she's still not going out there and, as Vince would say, grabbing the brass ring. She's not. It's not happening.
And the problem is Vince McMahon. That's the main problem. He's still running everything. So.
Right, and now that the Divas division lost arguably their biggest asset in AJ Lee retiring this past week, you know, it's definitely going to take an even bigger decline than it's already had in the past. So what are they going to do to fix it? Number one choice, you transition the women from NXT to the main roster, and your Divas division has all the credibility you'll ever need, and then some. Any last thoughts, guys, on the Divas division?
As you
can notice, you know,
it just needs a lot of help.
Right. No, I agree. I think we all agree to a certain extent, and I still respect them and appreciate them for their hard work, despite them not being able to deliver on a week-to-week basis. And that's not a shot at them, because the majority of the time they're not utilized properly, and you can only go out there and do so much to your limitations.
Yeah, like Emma, she was used properly in NXT. Now she was
Right. Despite the goofy, you know, cheeky gimmick that she had, she was still respected well down there and booked properly, despite that gimmick. And that's something the main roster can't separate, and it's a very thin line between goofy and serious and what the fans take serious these days. But, there's a lot going on in the Divas division, but I'm sure WWE will make the right calls and the right moves and transition those women to the main roster they so rightfully deserve. If you're watching the show right now, guys, I see a couple of fans are. You know, we're not going over segment by segment on the Raw review tonight. We're just reviewing the show from an overall capacity. there wasn't much to go into detail about, and that's pretty much why we're here, just rambling on incoherently for your guys' enjoyment. We're going to move into a big thing, in my opinion, that's been going on in the main roster, and that's the atrocious booking of Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose. And I really don't know where to start, so I'm going to let you guys go, and I'll feed off your opinions. Go ahead, Mario.
I'm not the biggest Luke Harper fan, but I think we can all agree that he's a good wrestler. He can go in that ring for sure. So I mean, with the right booking, he can be a top heel. To be honest with you, maybe not the champion or anything like that, but to feud with like guys like Roman Reigns and Randy Orton and stuff like that. But
I think if you could keep him heel now and pushing forward, he's going to win over the crowd to some extent eventually, and then you push him for that massive babyface run, and he's a believable athletic big man.
Oh yeah. And as far as Dean Ambrose goes, I mean, I'm a huge Dean Ambrose fan, and I wanted to see him win that title at WrestleMania. But now he just faced Cena on Raw last week, and he got I guess buried. I guess.
See, like I would debate that. I'll debate that once you finish. Go ahead.
Okay. With it, and he wasn't on Raw this week. So I mean, I don't know how you can explain that. He's one of your, I guess, top baby faces right now, and not having him on Raw, leaves a huge gap.
Right.
It affected the show greatly. And I think they have to start building him up for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Because I'm pretty sure he's gonna get that briefcase. Sorry. He may not cash it in and win the title, right? But I'm pretty sure he's gonna win the Money in the Bank. So I mean, I guess they're just building him up for that.
Yeah, it makes plenty of sense that he could be on a decline and then hit the momentum again, so to speak. Pop the clutch and move forward, following Money in the Bank if he does come back with the win and bring the Money in the Bank briefcase home. I think that would be a great momentum builder for him. The fans are behind him no matter what happens, and he's one of those guys that even if he loses, he's still going to be over as hell, and you can't diminish his credibility, and he's going to be over with the fans.
They're planning a heel turn for Ambrose too, so don't forget about that.
I don't know how much the believability or the truth is when it comes to that, scenario. But what do you think? You think it's going to happen with the heel turn? What do you think about the bad booking?
I think a heel turn could happen if they keep making him lose. He's just going to snap one of these days and just go fucking ballistic. Keep losing.
Right, and they want him to run as a heel, but you got to understand that the fans love Dean Ambrose for how eccentric he is, and the ingenuity and the creativity he brings to the table. So when he snaps, they're going to be more behind him than ever. So have a heel run, that wouldn't make sense.
I don't know how it's going to happen.
I don't know. I see him staying face longer than expected, but the booking doesn't make up for that. Him and Luke Harper, I'll start with Luke Harper, who's a phenomenal big man. If you've seen him in the Indies, Big Rig Brody Lee, you guys need to check him out. His athleticism speaks for itself.
That guy's just fucking phenomenal.
He's a nutcase. Everywhere he goes, he's the main event. Sold out crowd, and some fans might look at it as a small barn house or a gym, wherever they may be wrestling. But this guy sells out places all over the place, wherever he works. Very athletic, very broad moveset. Very versatile for his size, to say the least. But the bad booking for him and Ambrose hasn't just started here. It's been going on for months now, even prior to WrestleMania 31. And those are two of the biggest assets in the main roster.
It's after he lost the Intercontinental Championship it started happening.
Yeah, it's been a while now since then. I believe like 5 months, when him and Ziggler were going back and forth with it. They worked a good month or two program.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about the bad booking? Do you think it's going to keep moving forward, or?
I think it's going to bring something big. Some big push for both of them later on. That's what I think.
Those are dues. Right. They are paying their dues, and they've been since day one. And despite their position on the card and when they perform, it doesn't take away from how much effort they give. And they always give 110%. And that's what's going to get them recognized and acknowledged by internals within the company, and they are eventually going to get that big push. It's just sitting through all the bullshit you have to sit through and getting all the dumb programs.
Plus, you can't push everybody at once. It doesn't work like that.
Exactly. Not everybody can beat a guy at the same time. You know, it works in stride. The cycle of the clock goes around. You know, one door opens, another closes.
Mm-hmm.
But moving forward, yeah, they both have huge amounts of potential, and WWE would be silly to waste it.
Luke Harper is the best big guy in
Luke Harper. Some people consider Cesaro a big guy. Nah, I don't really consider him a
I don't
big
consider
guy.
him a big guy. He's a medium size.
Yeah, he's a pretty big dude, but he has big man strength. No doubt about that.
His legs are strong. Jesus.
Right. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about the main event. We had the triple threat match for the #1 contendership for Extreme Rules. The winner pitting themselves against Seth Rollins. I wasn't a big fan of the match. You know, to me it seemed pretty sloppy. It seemed like the timing was really off for all three competitors, and you know, I just really couldn't get behind it. You know, there was a good amount of mistakes. What did you guys think about the main event match and the Raw ending 10 minutes early, Mario?
The match seemed kind of rushed to me. I guess because of the timing or something like that. But yeah, it seemed sloppy. It seemed rushed. And I mean, I didn't really see the point of having right back in there. But, you know, after the match, I realized, okay, yeah, it was for the pin, right?
Yeah. What were you saying?
I'm done. That's it. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Bill. You ended so abruptly. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, okay.
But yeah, the match. I don't know. It was so sloppy to me. It was so predictable. Ending. That's pretty much it. I just didn't like it.
You know, when we started the show, you know, I brought it up that, you know, we didn't have Triple H or Stephanie tonight. We didn't have Bray Wyatt despite his promo. We didn't have Dolph Ziggler. We didn't have Daniel Bryan. We didn't have Dean Ambrose. Despite them working storyline injuries or not, those guys contribute so much to the overall quality of the show. And without them there, it really showed. You know, it stuck out like a sore thumb. But you know, I'm not going to complain since we had a great showing last week from WrestleMania 31 to Raw and SmackDown. Raw's going to be in the UK next week. You know, and I'm a big indie fan, so I got NXT and Lucha Underground coming up this week. And you know, for you TNA fans out there, all three of you, you know, we got TNA coming up this Friday. This Friday night. I'll let Mario promote that show because he's TNA analysis. He's the Josh.
And then next Friday is going to be live Impact.
Yep. Is it live?
Yeah, next Friday.
That's interesting. I'll definitely be tuning in. I'm only two. I think I'm 3 episodes behind last seeing. That's my.
I'm only paying attention because Kurt Angle is wrestling and he's champion.
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of good things moving forward in the wrestling world, but yeah, like I said, WrestleMania and Raw and all that were great. Raw's going to be in the UK next week, so you know you can't always have a 5-star Raw. You can't always have what you want. You know,
you can't have like Japan Pro Wrestling puts on every time.
No, and sometimes I have to bring myself back to reality to acknowledge that because when Raw's not on, when WWE's not on, or before or after Raw, you know, I'll go in, like I like to watch Japan, and I like to watch AAA, and I watch Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and I see the matches these guys are putting on. So then when I tune on the Raw and I see Ryback versus Kane, I'm not impressed. And I have to adjust myself back to the WWE style and realize, you know, I can only take it for face value. It is hard to adjust when you watch a big tier of indie wrestling.
I treat WWE as a business now.
Right.
That's how I treat them now.
They're all businesses in the long run, but WWE being, you know, $1 million company, you know, publicly traded in the stock market, you know, you got the investors, you got the board of directors, just the litany of people you have to go through just to get something approved it's just insane. And I can only imagine the amount of work those guys have to get put through just to put, you know, decent quality stuff on the card or on the program. What do you think, Mario? Do you think, you know, the business side of wrestling and social media today and pop culture has somewhat destroyed mainstream wrestling?
I think it has to a certain extent. You know, the internet, of course, is like huge. Because now you see spoilers and a bunch of news and rumors and stuff like that. And you know, back in the day, you didn't have that much stuff going on, so you know, it's just what's on TV. But now, you know, you're basically a wrestling geek because you have the internet.
Right. Yeah. Some people label the IWC, and despite if you are or not, or whatever you want to call yourself, what type of terminology you want to use. The majority of us are, for the most part. Yeah, we do go online and complain. I try to make it minimal at best for myself, but everyone has a computer now. Everyone has the internet. Everyone's a smart fan. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, the internet has ruined extreme wrestling. Because in the 90s we didn't have internet, and we didn't know what was going on in wrestling at all. We were surprised how the shows, but now we know everything. Respect everything, outcomes and all that shit. But to the extent it's good for like internet pay-per-view. Pretty much they use it for now.
I just hate how some fans call WWE out on the predictability, yet they're reading the dirt sheets every single day. You know every nick and cranny of the business and every ongoing at every moment of every day.
Yeah.
How can you call it predictable? You're doing it to yourself.
Yeah. Why do you say predictable when you read the dirt sheets?
I know, you're spoiling it for yourself.
Those people should shut their mouths.
You know, you gotta take a week or two off from the dirt sheets and just watch the product for what it is, and I'm sure you'll be impressed at least much more than you were prior.
I mean, I read the dirt sheets. I don't complain about it.
Right. Like I'll read the dirt sheets. I read the dirt sheets for the most part when there's a decent amount of news coming out, but I hate spoilers. I will if I see the spoilers to a show, I'll be so upset. I really believe in that surprise factor and the awe that comes from it, and that's really the spectacle of pro wrestling. You never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
There's so many different things we could go into. You know, like I said, it was a simple Raw review tonight. We're not going to break down much, considering there wasn't really much detail to go into. Any rumors you guys heard from mainstream wrestling, indie wrestling, anything in general you guys want to cover tonight?
No, I haven't really read the dirt sheets.
Yeah, I've been kind of shying away from it. You know, right now I'm sure like John Cena, Chris Jericho, Talk is Jericho podcast on the WWE Network is still going. They usually last about 45 minutes to an hour, so it's probably near the end of it now. I know us three, all of us are going to go back and watch it. A lot of fans speculating it was going to be a kayfabe podcast instead of a shoot interview like the previous ones with Austin, McMahon, and Triple H. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. You know, I hope they break kayfabe. But anything you guys want to talk about real quick, or do you want to head out? There isn't much to go over after tonight. It's been a slow week in wrestling.
Yeah.
Just watch TNA.
It's even bad week for Bullet Club. Oh, man.
I know, I heard. Oh my God, the Kingdom taking the IWGP tag team title.
It's both titles.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's crazy. But yeah, there's a lot. There's some stuff going on in the indie scene, but as far as mainstream wrestling goes, you know, not too much happening.
Important right now.
No. News is usually pretty slow prior to WrestleMania, so I expect it. But yeah, we have a lot of great things coming forward. Make sure you guys stay tuned for another episodic edition of Project Pipe Bomb for your host Paul Jaser, aka the Arabian Wolf. You can check us out on Twitter at Project Pipe Bomb. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Leave a comment in the feedback section below. Tell us what you think about the show. Positive or negative, we'll be happy to talk to you and help out. Mario, go ahead if you want to plug yourself real quick.
Just again on Twitter at Golden Eagle 0462.
Golden Eagle 0462 on Twitter, checking them out. And for you, Brick Wall.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at King Brick Wall. You can check out my podcast, Wrestling Talk with Brick Wall.
Wrestling Talk with Brick Wall on YouTube. Make sure you guys check them out. You know, great show in its own right. But for Paul, for Mario, for King Brick Wall, this is Project Pipe Bomb. Thank you for watching and have a good fucking night. Peace.